Here they come. What's up? It's all me. That's a clever name. I'm a fan. How you doing? Gizleman XO, sweet. How you doing? How you doing? We're just waiting a few seconds here to get started. And I'll show you guys one of my favorite strategies. I'm actually really pumped about this. I love web traffic. I love all that crap. It's so fun. Where are you guys from? I'm up here. Tom's Togs, sweet. I'm up here in Idaho. I'm not from Idaho. I'm from Colorado. But yeah. Where are you guys all from? Can you guys hear me? Give me some hearts or something if you guys can hear me. I want to show you guys one of my favorite strategies ever. I'm sitting here in my living room. Got my sweet whiteboard here. I'm gonna draw some stuff out for you. And that was my little girl's shoes. And oh, my sunflower seed. Have you guys ever had these things? They're ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Your face every day. My gosh. Your face every day. Hey, so I want to show you guys something that I've been doing to get a lot of traffic to different offers and different websites. And I've been doing web stuff for years now and driving a lot of traffic. And I've been hired by a lot of companies to do it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been super fun. I've really enjoyed it a lot. But you know, stuff changes so fast. You kind of have to keep up with what's going on. This is not a new strategy, but the way I'm using it has been really cool. So, right. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. Here's what I've been doing to get a whole lot of people to my website to send traffic. And honestly, the best situation I've been using this in lately is just to test products before we launch them. So my buddy and I went and we were putting together this sweet product, and we wanted to see, okay, do people even want this thing before we actually keep pursuing it, right? And anything you go pursue just takes a ton of time. And so we went and I had this idea. I love email. I think email is awesome. You think about old media, you know, things like direct mail, TV, radio, they're all being replaced by things on the internet, right? And so direct mail, the replacement would be email. You know, the new TV is like YouTube and video, right? And then for like podcasts, that's like the new radio. And so all the mediums are still there, all the medias, there's just a new format, right? And so I really like direct mail. I like email. So I was like, well, what if I just went and sent out a huge email blast to a ton of people, right? And so that's what I did. But I don't have the list, and that's a huge problem. And so what I did is I went and I found people who had a list instead. And there's a certain site that I used, and we went and we sent out like, it was 117 million emails in like 2 days. And it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Give me some hearts if you like that. Tap the screen a little for me, because that's wicked cool. We went and we sent out just a whole bunch of emails, whole bunch of ads to these people, just to see what people would start responding to, right? That we were not like wasting all this money and all this time trying to figure out if people like it before we even launch it. So I'm gonna flip my screen around. I'm gonna draw my whiteboard, and I'm gonna show you exactly how this thing worked, because it was way cool. Did you write each one, fat bastard? No, I did not write each one. I wrote it one time, and then I sent it to 117 million people. So this is how it works, right? Have you guys ever heard of a squeeze page? You know, have you ever seen those things where so it's like a website you come to, and there is a submit button and like an email, and then someone's like, hey, here's like a free report or something like that, right? And you go in and you hit the submit button, and you get dumped into a huge, it's basically a big bucket of emails, right? Whoop, that's my bucket. That's why I do internet and not art. Oh man. So anyways, and let's say after a while you get this massive list, right? Let's say you've been sending traffic here, and people have been hitting the site, and industry standards for internet, you know, typically you can get anywhere from 10 to 30% of people to opt in, right, for your free report or whatever it is. I know you guys, have you guys seen these on the internet? I'm sure you have. They're everywhere. But this is the strategy of why they're doing it. So, and why I'm doing it. But anyways, so let's say after a while you get, 1,000 people on your website or in your list. You got 1,000 people in your email list. You can go and send an email. Let's say, let's say you wake up in the morning, you're like, hey, I'd like to make a few extra bucks today. You send out an email, it's an ad to that list, and then suddenly, 1-2% of people buy. But 1 or 2% of 1,000 people who buy that thing, you can, depending on the product, you can really make a lot of money in one day like that, right? So that's the strategy, is just to get that massive list. Distribution is money, right? And so you think of like Redbox. Have you guys ever looked at Redbox? There's a cool one now I use called VidAngel online. That one's super cool. But Redbox is cool. The way they got so big is by using McDonald's, right? McDonald's was the distribution, and they came to McDonald's, and in their first year they said, "Hey, McDonald's, let us put our Redbox on each of your locations, and we'll give you half the profits for a year." McDonald's agreed. It was a really smart move on Redbox, because then Redbox blew up. There's a distribution that they already sunk into, right? It's the same thing with email. So with the strategy, I don't want to spend all this time building my own list. Well, there's people out there who have like no joke, there's people out there who have 100,000 people on their list. Let's say you find somebody else who has 300,000 or 50,000, whatever it is. You go to these people, you find them, and there's certain networks you can use to find them and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to grow the list that like you have, but if you'll just drop an ad out to your list, I'll pay you money to do that. That's called a solo ad. Very, very, very popular in direct response marketing online. If you say that term, people will know what you're talking about. It's not like some obscure thing. So that's what I did. My buddy and I went and we found, they were super cheap solo ads, but we spent, it was 117 million people. I gotta watch the whiteboard and not my screen writing. 117 million people, emails. It was one ad, right? 117 million people. From that, we got, it was 53,488 people in 2 days. And we got 100 pre-signups for the product. They pre-bought the thing before we even had it out. It was really cool. So 100 pre-signups. So we paid $100 to get 100 pre-signups. That's $1 per lead. That's pretty freaking standard. What's cool about that though is that now those people who hit our squeeze page, we now own that traffic, right? I have that list still. And anytime I go and I market to something, maybe I'll spend $100 again, get another 100 people. But now I have my other 100, so now I have 200 people I can send to, right? And that's how you grow the list. That's one of my list hacking, quote-unquote hacking techniques, is I'll just keep sending solo ads to other people's lists. You learn as you go along what they like, and that's the strategy. And so we sent out, I told you guys yesterday, for those of you guys who were following me, I told you guys yesterday that I would talk more about the strategy, but do you guys got any questions? Does that make sense? Give me some hearts if you think that's cool, because really cool stuff. It's super cheap. I hate Google. It's way better than doing Google, like Google PPC ads. Which there's some cool strategies to get around that as well. Also, I'll talk about those later. But do you got any questions or anything? Is there anything that you want to know about that? Because that's a wicked cool strategy, and we've been using this for a lot of different products. But guys, that's really all I have for you right now. This is more, I wouldn't say it's high level, but it's more intensive than just buying a PPC ad. But you'll get a lot of free traffic from it as you go along anyways. But anyways, that's all I have for you. I actually have to go to work soon. I call my job my work, so I have to move along and get there. So